Hey folks, welcome back. In this tutorial we're going to do some simple camera moves in 3D space. I'm just going to show you the movement we're going to be attempting, and it's a fairly simple one. And this tutorial really is designed for those who are making their first ever moves into trying to navigate their way through 3D space with a camera. So I'm just going to render it out and you can have a look at it. It's a simple zoom out of a shot, a move to the left, and then a zoom in on another shot. Right, let's have a look at that one more time. Oops, sorry, let's do a proper render. There we go. So a zoom out, move to the left, and a zoom in again. Okay, let's get started. I'm just going to remove that camera and just put things back to where they are, and we'll get to work. So to begin, the first thing you want to do is, I've got two layers I'm going to be working with here. We're going to make them both 3D by clicking here and here. To work in 3D space, you'll need two views. So go to two views horizontal. And on the right hand monitor, make sure you're on active camera. And on the left hand monitor, make sure you're on custom view 1. The right hand monitor is actually what you'll end up with when you export your work. So this essentially is what you're going to get when you actually say put it up on the web, or if you're putting it on DVD, or if it's just broadcast in any way. This is the final result. Whoops, sorry. And on the left, this window is just to help you move around and get a sense of how you're animating your camera in space. So I'm just going to put my time marker back to 0, and I'm going to set up a camera by going to Layer, New, and Camera. I'm going to go for a preset of 50, and then click on OK. And we can see a camera now popped up here in the monitor. It's got three handles, Y, X and Z, and you can grab them and move the camera around in space like so. You can grab other portions of the camera, but I would say in the early stages try and grab the arrowheads on the handles just so your movements are a little bit more constant and a little bit more precise. Now, to animate a camera is just like animating any other layer or asset in After Effects. We're going to open it here and open its transform properties. I'm going to select position and point of interest. Now, as you can see, actually, they've been grayed out already. And that actually means that when we click on one or other of those keyframes, they'll be both selected together. Now, the point of interest I'll probably talk about in another tutorial. Suffice to say that at the moment you want to have both of those keyframes selected when you're doing some first basic movements. Now, I want to start my movements at around 1 second. So I'm going to go to 1 second here. And I'm going to click on position and point of interest get selected at the same time. I'm then going to move on to 2 seconds. And I'm going to grab the Z handle and I'm going to zoom the camera out like so. I'm then going to move along to 3 seconds. Now, I don't want to actually do a move at the 3 second point. I want the camera to be staying in the same place in space. So if that's the case, what you want to do is repeat these keyframes here. And that's fairly easy to do. Make sure you've got both selected and then click here and it repeats the keyframes again, which means that from 2 seconds to 3 seconds, it's holding in space. I'm then going to move on to 4 seconds, grab the X handle, move it along like so to the next image. I'm then going to move along to 5 seconds, and again I want it to hold in space and not move in that 1 second period. So I'm going to repeat these keyframes by clicking here. As you can see, it moves from 3 to 4 seconds, then from 4 to 5 it holds again. I'm going to go on to 6 seconds, grab the Z handle, or axis point, I suppose you could argue, and I'm going to zoom in like so on this image. So let's just have a little scrub through that. We have a zoom out, hold, move to the left, hold, and then it zooms in again. If you want to make the movements a little bit more soft and less sort of jerky, probably the best thing to do is highlight all of those keyframes, do a right click, like so, go to Keyframe Assistant and make the keyframes Easy Ease. And it just softens out the movement and the animation. To be honest, Easy Ease keys are things you probably want to put onto most of your animations in After Effects. Right, let's just render this out and have a look at what we've got. Now, just a little tip for you when it comes to rendering out and looking at stuff in 3D space. Make sure the right-hand monitor, which is, as you can see, the active camera here, make sure this right-hand monitor has been selected. You can tell it's been selected by these little handles here, these sort of little yellow handles here, and here. If you can see those 4 handles, it means it's going to play back through that monitor. If this monitor is selected on the left, it'll play through that one. So click on here before you do your render. Okay, let's render it out and see what we've got. Okay, not too bad at all. Nice, simple movement in 3D space. So, that's a sort of beginner's guide to moving around in 3D space. Hope you found that useful. See you in the next tutorial.